So with the recent release of Trap in theaters from M. Night Shyamalan, we now have 15 movies released by probably the most controversial director of all time for his huge variety of content in terms of quality. So today, we're going to be ranking all 15 of M. Night Shyamalan's movies from worst to best. Hi everyone, my name is Mike, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be ranking M. Night Shyamalan's movies, and yeah, really no introduction needed, I guess. Uh, M. Night was a director that I hadn't seen a whole lot of his movies until pretty recently. I think it was around the time that Old came out that I actually started like diving into his movies and whatnot. And yeah, I think the first movie that I saw from him was like a long time ago. When it first came out, actually, was either The Last Airbender or After Earth. So whenever those came out, probably saw those first, and then actually saw his good movies. So yeah. Um. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into number 15. Yeah. Here we go. Number 15 is gonna be The Last Airbender, one of the worst films probably ever made. One of the worst adaptations ever, probably the worst adaptation ever. Just the simple fact that they can't pronounce the main character's name, I think, proves why it's a shit movie. So, yep, comes in at number 15, last place. Not really all that high, all that much higher is going to be 2013's After Earth, probably the biggest nepotism project of all time, where Will Smith wanted to make Jaden Smith a star, so he was plastered all over the entire movie to get people into seats, and then the actual movie was just Jaden Smith adventuring around this like post-apocalyptic world, and Will Smith is like thrown off to the side getting, I don't know, like stuck in a spaceship or something. Ah, it's kind of visually pleasing, but on a story basis, dialogue, characters, this movie is horrendous. So comes in at number 15. Not too much better than The Last Airbender, honestly. Number 13 is going to be Lady in the Water. Now, this movie, production wise, is not nearly as bad as After Earth or The Last Airbender. It's not nearly as like insultingly bad as The Last Airbender, at least. But this movie is so poorly written. Just the fact that M. Night puts himself into this movie as a character who's supposed to be the greatest writer of all time or something like that is so egotistical, and shows kind of the weak spots of his career where he's trying to improve his ego. He's trying to improve his ego by putting himself as like a major character in his own movie. Like, it's just really, really stupid. And also, this movie's just really fucking boring. This, yeah, I don't even know if I've seen this movie all the way through. Probably because I fell asleep. Maybe I don't even remember half of it. But yeah, comes in number 13. Number 12 is going to be Old. One of the strangest movies that M. Night has made, where the concept is really cool, but the execution is really not cool. There's scenes in it that imply children are fornicating in a tent. Their CGI is horrendous. The dialogue is some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard in a movie, and also has probably the greatest name for a rapper of all time in Mid-Sized Sedan. Might just be me, but yeah, that's like the funniest part about this movie. I can have a good laugh about this one because it is really not good, but I don't ever rewatch it just because there's other M. Night Shyamalan movies that I can laugh at and sit through better than this. So, comes in at number 12. Coming in at number 11 is Wide Awake. Probably M. Night's like least M. Night Shyamalan film on this in his entire filmography. Just because this movie is like a weird mix of like a family drama and like coming of age. but also wants to be like juvenile humor, but is like really dark at the same time. Is like, I don't know. It's like a kid losing his faith, but has like poop and fart jokes. Like it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't know its audience, and yeah, I don't know. I've only seen it like once, and I don't really care to revisit it. So, comes in at number 11. Number 10 is probably the most disappointing film on this entire list, and that is The Village. This was a film that M. Night made right after his super amazing streak in uh, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs. And this is, his like fifth film, I believe, not including Praying with Anger. This is not on this list, by the way. So yeah, The Village came out right after he made Signs, which was like the end of his like 3 movie streak where he made classics after classic. And yeah, this film was so disappointing. Execution, it's not terrible. The writing and the just like the ideas thrown into the movie are really not good though. The twist kind of disappointing, and also the fact that it's right at the end of the movie, and the movie literally has no ending. It's just the main chick returns home, and that's the end of the movie. It just like cuts to the credits. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I just find this kind of boring. So yeah, comes in at number 10. Number 9 is his funniest movie, probably, and that is The Happening. Now, I get if y'all have this at the bottom. This movie is not good, but I have an amazing time going back and rewatching this. This movie is hilarious. It's unintentionally funny. I'm sure it is, but man, I have an amazing time going back and rewatching this. So, Mark Wahlberg, he is he's the most Mark Wahlberg he's ever been. Just like the what? No line. This so funny. The dialogue is terrible. The direction, the CGI is awful. The gore is. Don't even get me started. But man, it is a fun movie to go back and rewatch. So it comes in at number 9. Whoa, wardrobe change. Scary. Anyway, number 8 is going to be the new film on the list, Trap. This one I thought was kind of fun. From here on up, these are actually, I think, solid movies. This one, I will say, kind of fun, even though it's kind of a mess. This movie is kind of one of those where it has like multiple endings where it's like, at this point, okay, that would be a good ending. And it keeps going. And then it gets to another spot. It's like, oh, yeah, that would be a good ending right there. And it keeps going. And it like does this over and over again. And for the most part, like up until the third act, I actually really enjoyed it. But like, I don't know. Dialogue is also kind of whack, but it's kind of what I expect from an M. Night movie at this point. So it doesn't really bother me all that much, but like, yeah, it comes in at number 8. Could have been way better. The concept was amazing, but yeah, and also Josh Hartnett is awesome in this movie. So yeah, comes in at number 8. Number 7 is going to be M. Night's only found footage movie, The Visit. Now this one is actually a pretty solid little movie. I thought, at least. It's like a little horror flick about these 2 kids that go over to their grandparents' house who they haven't seen in like years, and weird shit goes down, and I think it's pretty good. The third act is a little weird. I don't love the turns it takes, because I kind of saw it from like the opening bit where you get like weird stuff going down, but yeah, I think it's a pretty solid movie. So yeah, comes in at number 7. Number 6 is a movie that I know a lot of people really hate, but I actually really like it, up until like one particular moment, and that is Glass. Now, this film is the final movie in the East Rail 177 trilogy. So Unbreakable, Sign, or Split, and Glass. And this film, I thought was really, really good for about 3/4 of the movie, up until you get to the one scene where basically Bruce Willis drowns in a puddle. And like, I don't know why they went that exact route. I think it's a little too weak for his character, even though his weakness is water, like he can't swim. But honestly, I don't hate it. I think it's actually a really fun movie. I think it's really cool as a trilogy capper. Other than that one moment, but yeah, comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is actually a movie that I grew on a lot. I used to not really like this movie, and then after I don't know three watches, I want to say that I had with one of my friends at one point, and then by myself a couple times, is Knock at the Cabin. Now, this film is not like a usual M. Night movie where it has a big twist. It's just kind of a reveal. And it's not like, reworks the plot like other M. Night movies do. And kind of the same thing with Trap. Um, they both had just like reveals that don't like change the entire rework it in your head or anything like that. But I will say, Knock at the Cabin I think is really damn good. One of like some of the best performances in like any M. Night Shyamalan movie, honestly. And Dave Bautista is probably like the best like wrestler turned actor that we have, and this performance is like the best of his performances. Honestly, I think his performance in this is fantastic. Rupert Grint was also really, really great in this film for like the 35, 40-ish minutes that we get of him, like the 40 odd minutes that we get of him. He's great. Also, just the main plot, I think, is really, really good. I don't love the change that they made to the ending from the graphic novel. I think, honestly, the graphic novel is a little bit more effective. But other than that, I still really like Knock at the Cabin. Comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Split, one of the greatest performances I think I've ever seen in my life, with James McAvoy as Kevin, I believe is his name in this. I could be wrong. Somehow I forget it, but it's one of the best performances I've ever seen. Right? Yeah, makes total sense. Makes total sense. Anywho, yeah, James McAvoy is amazing in this movie. Kind of a generic psychological thriller at its core, but the split personality thing is so cool, so well directed, and so well performed. I love this film. Comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is going to be arguably the movie with the best twist ever made, and that is The Sixth Sense. Now, don't do what I did going into this movie knowing the twist, because it was spoiled for me a long time ago and I never forgot it, which is like one of my biggest regrets. I wish I could have just like wiped that into my like out of my mind and gone back and watched this for the first time and seen that reveal. But this film is incredibly made, incredibly acted. Bruce Willis, Haley Joel Osment are awesome, and I believe Toni Collette is the mom, and she is amazing in this film as well. Literally one of the most tear-jerking moments I've seen in a film like ever in this as well. And yeah, I love The Sixth Sense, and like I said, one of the greatest twists ever put into film. So comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is actually one of the best superhero movies ever made, and that is Unbreakable. I love Unbreakable so much. This film is genuinely inspiring. Like, the ending of this movie makes me like pump my fists, like, yeah, you do it. And it's like, I love this freaking movie, man. This story is so well crafted, so well directed. The cinematography is amazing. The performances are great. The twist is awesome. Love it. So, yeah, near perfect movie. I think if it was like a tiny bit shorter, maybe would be a little bit better. I think it's kind of overly like a little overstuffed at some points, but I love it. So it comes in at number 2. But coming in at number 1 was probably the only movie on this list that the first time I watched it affected me deeply. I loved this film watching it, and I think I've seen it 3 times now, and it doesn't 100% hold up as well as the first time viewing, but is still so effective. Has one of the greatest jump scares of all time, and that is Signs. I love Signs. This film is probably Shyamalan's best crafted film. I think the simple concept of just this, you know, this priest that's lost his faith ends up finding crop circles in his fields, and just like the town's reaction to all these events, and basically like leads up to the alien invasion. And I think it is so well told, so well crafted. CGI doesn't really hold up, and also the tiny twist that they made about the aliens being weak to water doesn't make 100% sense, but I still think it's really effective. So for me, I think Signs comes in at number 1. One of the greatest alien films ever. So yeah, I think it's a masterpiece. Comes in at number 1. So let me know, guys, what do you think of M. Night Shyamalan's movies? Let me know your ranking down below in the comments. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. So peace out, everyone.